Hello there, good evening and welcome to the new domestic football season live on the JB Claret and of course to start the season Twitch channel. We're live from the City Ground, Nottingham, a very cloudy but still very overcast and quite humid City Ground in the Midlands. It's Nottingham Forest against West Brom. Me, JB, John Studdard, your big match commentator for today, and it's great to be back at the City Ground. The last time the channel was there was for an FA Cup tie 18 months ago, which Nottingham Forest under Gary Brazil in those days beat Arsenal 4-2 in an FA Cup tie here at the City Ground. One of the great clubs in the Midlands that have fallen on hard times. Sheffield Wednesday and Wigan lead the way. Charlton won, QPR won, Swansea won and Barnsley won. Birmingham got 3 points, still to did Millwall. Luton and Middlesbrough picked up a point each last night, but the rest of them have all lost, and we'll keep you abreast with all the scores at the moment. But Sheffield Wednesday top, but as I say, it's early days yet in the Championship at the start, and let's hope we have a marvellous start there. Nottingham Forest and West Brom yet still to play. Fulham, Preston and Reading are the occupants at the moment of the bottom three, and Huddersfield and Leeds kick off their season tomorrow. What an atmosphere here at the City Ground, and hopefully we'll get some really good goal action like we saw last night, what happened at Canal World last night, where Luton and Middlesbrough played out one of the most remarkable games of football I think you'll probably see. Well, just before we start and give you the two teams, we'll give you the cricket news as well, because the teams are just in the tunnel at the moment. And I can tell you the latest score. Australia are batting at the moment. England made 400. Australia in their first innings, 284 all out. England were all out earlier today for 374. But Australia having one or two problems. 98 for 3 after 24 overs, and at the moment they're taking drinks. And England, Australia leading England by 8 runs, but they've got 7 wickets in hand. But I would fancy England at this point to go on and win the Test match. We'll give you an update on the Test match as we go along, and we'll bring you all the full-time scores from the Championship in full at half-time when we come back from our little break. West Brom in the yellow and green stripes, Forest in the red, as the teams came out to a rapturous welcome here at the City Ground. Right, let's look at the Forest team with Muric in goal, and it's Matty Catch, Joe Worrell, Michael Dawson, Jack Robinson, Joe Lowry, Ben Watson, Semedo, Thiago Silva, Lewis Grabban and Albert Adoma. And Sabri Labucci is the new coach, replacing Martin O'Neill. They're going to go 4-3-3 with Adoma, Grabban and Silva up front. Adoma on the left hand side, Silva on the right with Grabban in the centre. Ben Watson, who famously scored a cup winner for Wigan against Manchester City at Wembley, he will anchor that 3-man midfield centrally. For West Brom, it's Sam Johnson in goal, and it's Nathan Ferguson, Kyle Bartley, Semi Ajayi and Kieran Gibbs. Romain Sawyers, Jake Livermore the captain, Matt Phillips, who got sent off at Aston Villa last season in the playoffs, Kornivkiewicz, Edwards and Zahor rather lead the line. Zahor will play up front on his own with Edwards, Kornivkiewicz and Phillips in behind. It's basically a 4-5-1 formation with Edwards and Phillips on left and right flanks, and Sawyers and Livermore will anchor the midfield centrally a little bit further back. And Plymouth Argyle, I think it's PAFC Sonley, says hello. I haven't forgotten about your message. We have been quite busy, and of course there's a new manager of course at West Brom, Slaven Bilic. And of course if you're not on Twitch and you can't get access to Twitch, this commentary, the whole broadcast will be brought to you on YouTube a little later on for your listening pleasure. And of course we'll have the Community Shield either live or delayed tonight, tomorrow afternoon, or even tomorrow evening. But the crowd here at the City Ground very boisterous. The referee today comes from Barnsley. Got a cracking name, I've got to tell you. Darren England is the referee, and he comes from Barnsley. And in fact they've swapped the dugouts now. Boris are in what they used to be the away dugout away to my right hand side. There's Slaven Village to the left hand dugout, where they're all below me, by the way, and there's Slaven Village there on the left hand side dugout. And yeah, he's had a bit of a break away from English football, but he's back and he looks hungry to try and get West Brom back at the second attempt. They failed, remember, in that epic playoff semi-final that we covered on the YouTube channel at the back end of last season, when Aston Villa were the opponents, and there were two cracking games at Villa Park and at the Hawthorns, and of course that semi went to penalties, and as you know, West Brom lost the shootout. And away we go then. They've also lost Jay Rodriguez as well to Burnley, but they've got Zahor in as a replacement, and I think he'll do well for them. Forest, well, very hasty maybe sacking Martin O'Neill after 6 months. After 3 or 4 months, just 3 or 4 months in the job into the summer, I didn't think he was given much of a chance, but they've brought in Labucci, and we'll just have to see how they go. The problem with Forest at the moment is Forest attack the goal to our left, goal to our right, for West Brom in the green and yellow stripes. They're going to attack the Trent end in the first half. Muric, the man they've got from Manchester City, he's on loan I think from Manchester City. He was the backup to Edison last season, of course. Played in some cup ties, you may recall, last year in the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup. As number 28 Silva takes the ball up, gets it out to the far side now. Be interested to see how Forest go about it. They are probably going to be amongst the favourites there. I didn't really mention them on the podcast last night, because you never know with Forest. They change their manager every 6 months, and sometimes it's not very consistently, and I really do think that the owner needs to persevere with this new one he's got and give him the season. Here's Michael Dawson, started his career off at the City Ground, plays it out towards Matt Cash on the near flank, and he gets the ball in there to the penalty area. There's a man for real on the far side. He had a chance here for Forest in the opening 90 seconds, and it was well blocked there, and it comes out to Joe Lully on the far side. Beats 2 baggage defenders and then gets the crossing, which was charged down, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side, level with the penalty area, but it was Robinson on the far post who had the shot, and 1 or 2 West Brom defenders managed to close it down, because he hit that shot on the far post with some ferocity, I can tell you. And West Brom there at the start could have been a goal down. Well, if it lives up to all expectations, and the clash at Kenilworth Road did between Luton Town back in the Championship after about an 8-year absence, or a bit longer than that actually, to a 12-year absence, and Middlesbrough last night, where they produced a 6-goal thriller and a missed penalty, and it was bags of entertainment in that one. And there's plenty of entertainment here as Forest get the ball over towards the edge of the penalty area. Now it comes to Adoma here. Adoma, who's signed from Aston Villa, played in those 2 epic semi-finals in the playoffs. Ben Watson famously scored a winning goal at Wembley in the FA Cup final in 2013 for Wigan, when they famously beat Manchester City in the last minute, of course. And here is Lolly trying to get the ball in. Started his career off at Huddersfield Town. Joe Lolly, good player, and he's hurt himself there. The ball's rattled against the face there, and he might need a little bit of treatment to the face. The referee there in England has not obviously seen it. It is a facial injury as well, unless he's got back up on the floor, off the floor. Then surely he's got to stop it. But here come Forest though. They've got good possession. In fact, Joe Lowry is back up on his feet, I'm pleased to say, and I just think it was just the ferocity of the ball that hit him on the face. Here he is on the ball on the far side, and he chips it forward. Yeah, good win for Barnsley earlier today. They beat relegated Fulham by 1-0, and a great start to the men from South Yorkshire. And here's a chance now for Forest, and a chance for Silva. The shot deflects, and it's an easy one there for Sam Johnson to take almost virtually on his own goal line. 3.5 minutes gone. Nottingham Forest 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 at the City Ground, Nottingham. Of course, on the far side of the ground we have the Brian Clough stand, named after the manager who was there from 1975 to 1993, and his roll of honour at Forest was quite remarkable. A league title in 1978, 4 League Cups, 2 European Cups, a Charity Shield, and so many other, and he got them to an FA Cup final in 91, and then retired. Unfortunately, ended tragic. Well, it ended rather bad for him at the end of his career. In his last season, sadly, they got relegated. They finished rock bottom of then at the end of the first season of the Premier League. And at the moment, West Brom just struggling to get out their own half at the moment, as they've won a free kick there. Bartley was fouled as he was messing about with it on the edge of the area, and now West Brom just need to get their head into gear. I mean, the kit they've gone on is quite a bright kit there, I've got to tell you, and it makes it very difficult for me to read numbers. But we'll see what we can do and persevere with this as we go along. 5 minutes gone. Forest 0, West Brom 0. West Brom have a throw in, and it's 36 on who takes the ball. That's Ferguson, or throws the ball in, I should say. Ball being worked on the far side. Just remember, Albion attacking the Trent end in the first half. Forest like to attack the Trent in the second half. And a great win for Plymouth Argyle, back in sadly back in League 2. But Ryan Law's game, first game as manager, beat Crewe 3-0. And of course, because as I said, cracking win for Barnsley. Great game at Luton last night. And a big mention to Salford City, who played their first game in the Football League today. We were due to cover that, but for reasons beyond our control we couldn't. And but it was a good solid performance and a 2-0 victory against Stevenage, although Mike Harniman will not thank me for saying that. But Salford were much the better side from what I saw this afternoon over there, and they were good value, and I think they're going to be red hot favourites to probably win that League 2 title. And of course they've got a former Burnley stalwart in Graham Alexander in charge, which is always going to be good news. We'll keep you updated if anything happens in the cricket. Of course, England and Australia in the first Ashes test, not too far down the road at Edgbaston, and it's 105 for 3 now as the cross comes in from the far side from Gibbs, headed away by Worrell for Forest. The ball comes back again, and now Sawyers plays it in, and a chance here, and still not away yet. Albion still deep inside Forest's half. Now they're starting to have a little bit of play now. The ball's flipped in, but it's out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. So Hall trying to knock it round the corner. So we'll keep you updated with the cricket. And Australia at this current moment, 106 for 3, now lead by 16 runs, but they do have 7 wickets remaining, and Steve Smith is still very much, I think, at the crease. We'll also try and keep you up to date with the scorecard as well. So the scorecard is Bancroft. This is the second innings as the ball is hooked back. Bancroft caught Butler, bowled Moeen Ali for 7. Warner caught Bairstow, bowled Broad 8. And Khawaja out for 40 off the bowling of Ben Stokes. Again, Johnny Bairstow behind the stumps caught him. Smith not out 39. Travis Head 11. And that's the situation in the cricket. Anything happens, like a wicket falling down, or a 50 or 100 for one of the Aussies, we'll let you know during the course of this broadcast. They're coming towards the close of play there, about an hour to go as the shot comes in. It's a goal! A goal from Nottingham Forest from over 25 yards out, and it's Matt Cash with the right foot. A tremendous start for Labouche, the manager of Forest, and look at that, what a start for him there. And the City ground goes absolutely ballistic. Full house here this afternoon, and Nottingham Forest take the lead. It was well worked down the right hand side. It was beautifully worked really, and there's the shot. It was Adoma that played him in, played the 1-2 with Adoma. Lovely trick round the corner. Cash cuts in, and we're just from 22 yards range, just to the right of the D on the edge of the penalty area, strikes it in. Sam Johnston will be disappointed. It goes in at his near post, the right hand post, but Boris won't care. Matty Cash the scorer, first goal of the season, and the new regime is off to a great start here at the City ground, and problems afoot for Slaven Bilic. 8 minutes on the clock. It's Forest 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Matty Cash with the goal. Free kick to West Bromwich Albion. Foul there, but Matt Cash, great moment for him. Sam Johnston, though, he'll be very, very miffed that he's beaten at the near post there. Not the sort of thing that a goalkeeper would expect, and not a mistake. Not the sort of mistake that a goalkeeper would be able to make. And well, if you've just joined us, you've missed a goal. It's gone to Nottingham Forest 1-0. And I give the scores every 4 or 5 minutes anyway. If you've been with us for the last 5 minutes, where have you been? Because Forest have just scored and we've announced it. But anyway, 1-0 is the score, and it's Matt Cash to score around 8 minutes. We're now coming up towards the 10th minute of the game. 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. We've been the better side. Here's Cash the scorer from Adoma's pass, but he gives the ball away rather carelessly there. And now Zohar tries to hold the ball up, and then Cash gets it back to his goalkeeper, which is the on loan Manchester City keeper Muric. Muric gets it forward over the halfway line. Good header won there by Estevez. That was really well headed there, and he had a lot of space to nod it to a teammate. Here's Joe Lolly on the far side now for Forest. Cuts inside. Good purposeful running there by Joe Lolly. No foul, and it's play on now, and it's Forest 1, West Brom 0 in the Championship. And well, we didn't have many goalless draws in our coverage last season. Let's hope we get plenty more of the same. Just to remind you, Mike Harniman's going to be joining our commentary team next week. Chris Whiteman will be back in the combox next week as well, alongside my good self. And the Premier League will be back, but we will try and give you some bit more of the Championship as well during the course of the season, and try and get at least 7 or 8 games from the Championship over the course of the season to bring you, and plus the playoffs as well in all their entirety. And we enjoyed bringing them to you there last season. Forest 1, West Brom 0 at the City Ground. Remember, the Premier League takes centre stage next weekend. Liverpool play on the Friday. Hopefully we might have that one covered, but we'll announce the games later in the week. Community Shield match tomorrow, whether it's live or delayed, we'll have it here on the Twitch channel and then later on YouTube, as West Brom look to try and go forward again. But once again, Forest's defending was very, very resolute. Now Bartley has it on the near side, Bartley in field, and Sawyers now knocks the ball round the corner. Good football again. Now the ball played in, and the ball out to the far side. Now chances here for the cross. Ferguson's cross was charged behind for a throw-in, not far from the corner quadrant on the far side. Remember, Forest attacking the Trent end. And it's going to be Ferguson himself to take the throw-in. 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Goal on 8 minutes by Matty Cash. Steve Smith still out there for Australia in the first Ashes Test match at Edgbaston. They're into the 3rd day there, and if there's any score flashes, any wickets go down, we will let you know in due course at this moment in time. But it's West Brom on the attack now, looking to hit back straight away, and the ball is out towards the far side here. Chances here for Sawyers to measure up across perhaps, and Phillips is there too, and there's the little chip in there, but it's going to fall from Muric inside his penalty area. Miscontrols it and almost runs it out of play for almost a fortuitous West Brom corner, but he's kept it in. Remains Sawyers started his career, funnily enough, at Plymouth, amazingly, and but he's come on leaps and bounds as a footballer, and maybe one day he'll be a Premier class. He's certainly got that capability. It's a much changed West Brom side from the team we saw in the playoffs last season, when as I say, they lost out on penalties after 2 titanic games. And just to give you a quick update in the cricket, still 108 for 3, 18 runs Australia lead. Remember, they've still got 7 wickets remaining in that second innings, so England really do have to take maybe 2 or 3 more wickets before the end of the day's play, which is about an hour, just over an hour away now. We're finishing for the day. Day 4's tomorrow. Of course, England have become cricket world champions in the interim when we've been off the air with the football. What a great match that was at Lord's as well. But it's cricketing weather, not really football weather. But here's Phillips now for West Brom, cuts inside, lovely football, the ball across, and it's gone in. It's 1-1. In fact, it's not Phillips, it's Edwards, I should say. The names on the shirts are very, very confusing because it's red on the back, and it's another mistake, this time by Muric, and it's Edwards rather than Phillips that I originally thought has got the equaliser. It's 1-1, and maybe they need to maybe they need to get white on the back of these shirts, really, because white numbers and letters on the back, because you can't tell with red. But it's Edwards who cuts inside here, beats Matt Cash, and well, the goalkeeper should do better there. Cuts in from the left here. Edwards gets his shot off. Oh, Muric should do better. Muric should do better. I don't know whether it swerved or dipped a little bit in front of him at the last second, I don't know, but what a response there from Slaven Milic's side, and it's Edwards rather who gets the goal. And I feel quite fortunate because I'm not the only one in the stadium that made that error. Muric made the mistake as well, and so both goalkeepers culpable for both goals. Edwards has equalised. Well, 15 gone. Forest 1, West Brom 1. Good game this. Another four more goals, please, lads. And we'll match the aggregate score between Luton and Middlesbrough in that epic at Kenilworth Road last night. What a game that was. It was a great advertisement for football there, and Salford play some good stuff this afternoon. Here's Edwards now down the line again on the right hand side, and there's the ball played into the area, and West Brom almost in again at the back post, and this time it was Phillips that came flying in there. It was wonderful play here again from Edwards. He's having a remarkable 2 or 3 minutes here, and well, has to grow just an inch on that, and it's 2-1. What a turnaround that might have been in West Bromwich Albion's favour. 16 gone, it's 1-1 here at the City Ground. Well, when we were last here a couple of seasons ago for the third round of the FA Cup, when Arsenal came to town, it was an absolute epic in that one as well, and Forest had gone 2-up in that tie, and the game was remembered for a couple of controversial taken penalties offside there against number 7, was it? Yeah, number 7 Lewis Grabham. Oh, and well, Mick Alford, I've just seen there in the crowd. Luton Town, of course, as I was just alluding to, drew 3-0. I think they'll be a tough team to come up against, certainly at their ground. Kenilworth Road on a big occasion is always a very boisterous place, I can tell you. 17 gone here at the City Ground, and Nottingham Forest being held now, and they took the lead after 8 minutes from Matt Cash, but then Edwards equalised some 7 minutes later, and it's now the score standing at 1-1. But it's been a good game, and been very enjoyable to see it in full flight at the moment, as Dawson gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, who will not want to look at the replay of that goal with too many great fondness there. Muric, on loan of course from Manchester City, very capable deputy to Ederson last season. He was always on the bench and good understudy to Ederson, but he hasn't done himself any favours there. I suppose it was ring rustiness, but he should be fit now for the start of the season. That was a big goal to concede. Mind you, Sam Johnston made him another wicket himself at the other end. I don't think Muric will be going out to buy the DVD bloopers video at Christmas, at least for certain. Russ, one of our staff commentators, he'll be with us within a few weeks. Hope he'll be joining us after his holidays, and of course we'll be having a week off. I'll be having a week off from commentaries. There'll be no commentaries fourth week of the season because of holiday commitments. Russ is away as well, and he will be back at the end of the month when all the football content will transfer properly back to YouTube for you guys to enjoy. Anyway, it's 1-1 here, and it's Ferguson who gets the ball forward, and I have to say it's been a good start to the game. Really has been enjoyable. The ball now played back, and of course hopefully Panini will be on as well. We haven't seen from Panini obviously. I've just mentioned it before you came on, Russ. Cash put, I'll just remind you all again, Matt Cash put Forest ahead after 8 minutes, mistake at the near post by Johnson, and then 2 or 3 minutes ago, as West Brom go on the attack just to break off for a second, Edwards cut inside. I thought it was Matt Phillips at first, but the markings on the back of the West Brom shirts are so deceiving because they're red and you can't really see clearly. Anyway, it was Edwards in the end, cut inside from the left hand side, hit the shot across the goal, came away from Ewart and into the net, and here come Forest again down the far side and grabbing it, waiting, and he couldn't get growing up inside the 6-yard area to get the header towards the goal, and West Brom survive. I think there might have been a touch there from one of the defenders. It might have been Carl Bartley, in fact, but Forest had the freedom of the left hand side, and I think Bartley got a little flick on that. If he did, that is a great bit of defending, that, because Grabban was in there and he was unmarked, and it was a Forest throw in, but it's come to nothing in the end. Well, that would have been an amazing moment, and at the moment, the way these two teams are playing the game, I think this is going to be I think this has got all the old marks already, with 2 goals in the front in 20 minutes, 20 and a half minutes. I think this has got the old marks of being a very, very attack-minded open game, just like the game at Kenilworth Road last night. Of course, Salford beating Stevenage 2-0 earlier. Sorry, Mike, to keep bringing that up. And of course, a brilliant win for Barnsley on their return to the Championship at Oakwell this afternoon. 1-0 winners against Fulham. And of course, in the final pre-season friendly before Burnley kick-off, they beat Parma at Turf Moor by 2-0, both goals coming from Jay Rodriguez. So he looks in fine fettle. No goal for Chris Wood, but there was a couple of injury scares. Robbie Brady and Jack Cork had to go off. Brady was more the nastier injury than Cork's. I think it was just a little niggle. And Nick Pope made a stunning save at 0-0 in that match as well. But 2 Jay Rodriguez goals in the second half as Forest went a free kick on the far side, almost in line with the edge of the West Brom penalty area. Referee Johnny on the spot at the moment, Mr. England from Barnsley. He's done a fantastic job as the ref today. Hasn't given too many controversial decisions. He's been good. I've enjoyed the way he's refereed the game, and I have to say, full marks to Darren England. He's tried to let the game go, and he's tried to play the advantage. He's pulled Sawyers back for an earlier foul on Dawson. So he's spoken to him there, and I think that's good, sensible refereeing. He's letting the game breathe. I love a referee who does that and lets the game go and doesn't get too fussy. Mr. England, I have to say, has been pretty good on, bang on the money at the moment. Anyway, Silva and Joe Lilly are the 2 men committee on the far side, and I think who's going to take it? Was it Silva? Silva's free kick whipped into the penalty area. Oh, and there was a head on that inside the penalty area. I think it might have been a West Bromwich Albion head, and it was Ferguson who got a flick which took it wide of the right hand post and behind for a corner. Good free kick from the left hand side there from Silva, beautifully whipped in with a lot of venom with the side of his right foot, and Ferguson got a good flick on that. Otherwise that might have been trouble there. And it's the first corner remarkably of the whole game. We've been playing 23 minutes and it's Forest who get the first corner. Matt Cash, the scorer of the Forest goal, to take it. Goes short, and it's looked across, that's ticked in whippedly there, and the header one. It was Silva who whipped the ball in, and the header one at the far post. It might have been, or edge of the penalty area rather, it might have been Dawson, but it was straight into the arms of Sam Johnston. And here's Gibbs, still 1-0. Sawyers has got it on the inside the centre circle, just shy of halfway, still inside West Brom's half. Now number 36 has the ball on the far side, that's Ferguson. 1-1 is the score here at the City Ground, Nottingham. And here go Forest again, looking to score another goal. Gibbs has it from, gets the ball from Edwards, who got the equaliser. Back to Edwards once again. Edwards in field, and once again West Brom just starting to build up a little bit of pressure, as they ought to do now. But a good tackle there by Joe Lilly in there, getting stuck in there. Forest starting to be their own action selves again after a good. They had a good start to the game, good 10-minute period, and West Brom sneaked back into it. Of course, cancelling out the goal Matt Cash got. And now we're at 1-1. Kronovic is the West Brom player there that won the throw-in for them, which has been taken quickly deep inside their own half on the far side. Long ball forward now. Chances here now for Edwards. He gets the ball on the far side. A good run there inside the penalty area. Big opportunity there. Ball crack across, and there was just nobody in yellow or green in the middle for the cross into the penalty area. And I think it was Kieran Gibbs who crossed it in that time. He's just querying why nobody was gambling inside that 6-yard area as he darted into the penalty area, got to the byline, crossed the ball back across the 6-yard area. I think there may have been a touch off a Forest player anyway, so a throw-in has been given to West Brom level with the 6-yard area, but they've had to get the ball back, and now it's with Bartley. It remains 1-1 here with 25 gone. It's been an all-action game. It's been very enjoyable. It's been a pleasure to commentate on thus far. And well, the Championship's been all action, and as I say, we'll bring you up to date with all the full-time scores from the 3 o'clock games this afternoon. Because Leeds play tomorrow, as it turns out, as the cross comes in. Oh, it's whipped in! It's gone straight into the back of the net from absolutely nowhere. Muric caught out again. It's 2-1 Albion. Well, he caught me out almost. I thought it had gone over the top or hit the side of the net, but it didn't. It went in the back of the net. And I'm just wondering who crossed that in. Well, Slaven Bilic is showing no emotion. We'll find out who's got the goal in a second, but it was a terrific cross for whoever crossed it in there. It might have been Ferguson, actually. Ferguson with the cross, was it? Well, Muric there, well, he's guilty of conceding here. He's only 4 yards off his line as the cross comes in, and he just inexplicably leaves it. But it's West Brom who are 2-1 up here. Here it is again. There's the ball in. Muric should have it, and he hasn't. Oh dear. That is a calamity and a half. And Forest, who started so well, played some really lovely stuff as well to take the lead, have now fallen behind. It was Matt Phillips, in fact, who scored. So Phillips has scored for West Brom. I couldn't really tell because the names and the numbers on the back of these West Brom shirts are so deceptively bad and hard to read. It's hard to tell who's who at the moment. So Matt Phillips has been credited with the goal. And it's probably the most flukiest goal he'll score in his lifetime. Crossing from the right from Phillips, and Muric just seemed to let it go over his head. It was just unbelievable. Anyway, Forest now have got to get over it and get back into it. This is Joe Lolly now, midway inside the West Brom half, and he finds Cash. Cash on the right hand side. Can Forest hit back straight away? And they almost did there at the far post. Adoma coming in, but alas, couldn't get ahead on that. And Slaven Bilic now, after a poor start from his point of view, will be delighted for that. But well, Labucci well, he had a terrific start. It looked as if Forest were going to take themselves forward, but well, it's all happening here. And just to give you an update in the cricket, it's 119 for 3 second innings Australia. They lead now 29 runs ahead now, 7 wickets in hand, Australia. So that game is on the boys now in the 3rd day at Edgbaston. First Ashes test, second test at Lord's to come in about a week's time, but Forest have been dispossessed again. And look at Matt Phillips stride forward, and is he gone down? No, the referee decides. I thought it was a pretty good tackle actually, as Phillips bombed down that right hand channel. Did really well. Now here's a chance now for Forest. They need to just get themselves going again, as Estevez comes forward now for Forest. Now the ball is worked out to Joe Lolly on the just in field. Gets the ball back. Good one too. Lolly has the shot. It's into the West Brom fans to the left of the goal, and behind for a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion. 29 gone, and and not a half hour that Muric will want to look back in a hurry, or even I for that matter, because I couldn't tell who scored both the goals. First of all, I thought it was Billy, but it was Edwards, and then I thought it might have been Ferguson. I didn't actually say it was, but it just turned out it was Matt Phillips from the second one. So apologies there if you but there are reasons why it's a little bit confusing, the commentary, because West Brom have got red names and numbers on the back of their shirts, and it's making it really difficult for me to read who's who. And these notes are absolutely no good. But we've had 5 shots on target, and 3 of them have gone in. 2 for West Brom, which is counted both times, and 3 shots on target for Forest, one of which they've scored. And West Brom have got a 3 kick here, about more or less dead central, about 35 yards from goal. Well, this is not the start of the season. Forest very highly fancied by quite a number of neutrals, but they've made the mistake of second managers every so often, and you just get the feeling here that anything could happen here. Well, we've got a situation here, and it's almost, this game is just as good as the game at Kenilworth Road last night, 3-3 in that game between Luton Town and Middlesbrough. Those were starting life now under Jonathan Woodgate. But it's a free kick, something like 35 yards out. It's just maybe left the centre here, and it's going to be hit back towards Phillips. He'll try and test Muric from a good long distance, but it's well wide of the target, to the left of the post. In fact, he hit it well wide of the post and into the Trent end behind Muric's goal for a goal kick, and they've, well, things can only get better for the on loan Manchester City keeper. I suppose when you warm the bench at the Etihad for so long, and then when you get your chance and you're nervous, these things can usually happen. But here's Dawson for Forest, who trail 2-1, having led through Matt Cash. But Edwards and that fortuitous cross-come shot from Phillips has put West Brom in front. But here goes Joe Lally. Oh, he just lost his footing then. Tried to dummy it as he tried to run into the penalty area, as he cut in from the right hand side. And now here come Forest now, having to defend a bit, because West Brom are on the counter attack, and Ferguson's on the far side here. Ferguson will cross from the right, and it hits a Forest player, and it goes out for a throw in to West Bromwich Albion, who lead here by 2-1. One of the promotion favourites, along with Leeds, Cardiff and a couple of others. It's been a real summer of change at both clubs, new management teams and players coming in left, right and centre here at both the City Ground and at West Brom. Of course, Jay Rodriguez being sold to Burnley for £10 million, £5 million now and £5 million on add-ons. 2-1 here. I do apologise if the commentary is a little bit ropey. This is only the second game into the new seasons, and it's not on these two teams. A little bit unfamiliar to me. Forest, I haven't done them for over 18 months, so forgive me if the commentary does sound a little bit on the ropey side, but it's usually the first 2 or 3 commentaries of a new season can be the most ropiest ones. Here's Matt Cash now for Nottingham Forest. 2-1 down, and he has it on halfway, and Cash has to go backwards and gets it back to Muric now, who will not have done his who will not be the most universally liked player inside the City Ground at the moment. Here's Adoma breaking down the left hand side, but what a good tackle that was by Ferguson. Got the legs in there, and then there might have been there was a half appeal there, possibly for a penalty there on Adoma there by Ferguson, but the referee wasn't interested. And here come West Bromwich Albion again. Zahora now leading the attack, and the ball spread out towards the far side, but it's out of play, and it's a level or in fact midway inside the Forest half to Forest. So 2-1. This was the incident again on the far side with Ferguson and Adoma. Well, it's certainly in the bracket of Sinham Gibbon. Down in England up until that point was having a very good game, had a good view of it. He was no more than 5, maybe 6 yards away from that particular incident, but didn't order a penalty at all. and as it is, it remains 2-1 in favour of West Bromwich Albion, having trailed Nottingham Forest early doors in the game. Just to remind you of the scorers: Cash for Forest, and then Edwards, and as it turned out, Matt Phillips for Albion. Here's Kieran Gibbs now on the left hand side, just cuts either side. 2-1. We will take a little break at half time, as we always do on these transmissions, and as I say, we'll look at that. Here's Matt Phillips now. We've got Ferguson out on the far side, the West Brom right hand side I should say, and now Kromovich now takes the ball for Albion. Back to Kieran Gibbs, Gibbs back to Bartley. Now Ajayi takes possession. Puts it forward now to Ferguson. Phillips wants it played in field, but goes back to Ajayi again. Now Bartley gets the ball forward. Goes back to his goalkeeper. Dawson sits this game out because of I think Dawson has gone, I think, in the January window. I think he went in the window. Yeah, he went to Watford, didn't he, Craig Dawson? Yeah, because he was, I think he was, yeah, scored his last goal for West Brom in that second leg of that playoff semi, and in fact thankfully he didn't move to Burnley. Anyway, here's Edwards on the far side here. We'll have a run at one or two of the Forest defenders, and there's the shot coming in from 25-30 yards after centre from Kromovich, but it goes wide of Murich's far right hand post, and thankfully for Forest behind for a goal kick. 9 minutes of the first half remaining plus any stoppage time, and it's been an epic first 45 minutes for a neutral. It has been a terrific watch. It's Forest 1, West Bromwich Albion 2 in the Championship. Forest took the lead through Matty Cash, but West Brom have responded with both goals they've scored being in the fortuitous bracket. Certainly the second one, the equaliser, came from Edwards, and then Matt Phillips from more or less the right hand touchline, midway inside the Forest half. Chip Murich, he was only more than what, 3 yards, maybe 4 yards at best off his line, but it shouldn't have been beaten from there. And that's a basic error if you're a goalkeeper. And Cash now to take the throw in for Forest. So 2-1 it is now to the men from the Hawthorns, away here at the City Ground this afternoon. Two fortuitous goals have already gone in at the Trent End. Will we see an equaliser before half time, maybe for Forest? Both teams have played really good attacking football, however, although the defences have left a lot to be desired. The ball chipped in there towards the far side by Matt, and here's Cash with a decent cross, but again nobody was offering themselves. Now a chance now for Robinson to try and get forward, and here is Robinson now. Joe Lowey is there as well on the far side. Ball not back in there, and it almost found Adoma, but Ajayi got back in the nick of time to save West Bromwich Albion there. And well, there may have been another potential appeal there for a penalty. There was a bit of shirt tugging there inside the penalty area, and in fact I've seen there in the bracket, I've seen them given, I must say. But here's Cash now on the side for Forest. They're having a good go here since the second goal. Adoma gets the ball in. Cash with a shot across the face, a goal, and it's out for a throw in. Might have actually been a cross-come shot from Matty Cash, but he could have easily had a second goal there. Adoma worked it well down the right hand side, played it into Cash's path. I think he was trying to look for the man in the centre, which was Lewis Grabham, and he couldn't find him, and maybe Cash just hit it with too much venom and too much wit perhaps, and that's what did in the end for Forest. Forest's chances there of maybe pinching an equaliser out of that attack, but it remains 2-1. Australia now extend their lead to 34, and they've just finished in fact at Edgbaston. So 124 for free, 31 overs have been bowled in that second innings by Australia, and they lead with 7 wickets remaining by 34 runs, and that has closed 284 all out Australia in their first innings. England replying with 374, and Australia now at this stage after a very free very 4 runs ahead. We'll remind you that at the end of the programme, as regards to cricket, they've closed for the day here, but we're far from closed here as Kromovich comes forward now, and he finds Gibbs, who's started into the penalty area, and in the end Watson had to get in there and see it out, because Forest there was so lackadaisical in defence. Gibbs allowed to twist and turn by 2 red shirts as he cut in from that left hand channel. It was almost a real opportunity there for West Brom to extend the lead to 3-1 at this stage. Well, the City ground that was cheering some half hour ago is now in silence. There's a foul there, but the referee playing an advantage, and Adoma's got the ball, and Adoma can play on by all means because it is an advantage, and Forest have got maybe 5-on-5 here as Adoma tries his luck from just outside the penalty area on the left hand side, and he hits it over the top and behind for a goal kick. But it was a wonderful run, just in the end when it caught up. In fact, it wasn't Adoma, in fact it was number Estevez, it was back who had the shot. 1-1 in the pre-season game at Old Trafford between Manchester United and AC Milan. Rashford with the goal after 13 minutes in that game, and AC Milan equalising some 12 minutes later through Suso. So it's 1-1 at Old Trafford in the final warm-up friendly before they start their league campaign a week tomorrow, in fact, against Frank Lampard's Chelsea at Old Trafford. In fact, it's been played at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. In fact, I don't understand why they don't play any pre-season matches at Old Trafford, but there we go. I assumed it was Old Trafford, but I'm now informed it's now being played at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. As West Brom called forward, real opportunity there maybe for number 3, but Forest just had enough bodies back to cope with that little low ball in there by Gibbs. There's a West Brom player down, but Forest are more entitled to play on, but the ball comes towards Sam Johnson. He will probably now put it out of play so that his colleague can receive treatment. I'm just trying to check who it is. His number's got it. They all lie down on their backs, so I can't really see what number it is. And it's Edwards, I think, and he's landed awkwardly on that lower back. And I tell you what, when you get an injury like that on your lower back, I can tell you from experience myself, it is very painful. 3 minutes to half time here, incidentally, still 2-1 to West Brom if you've joined us late here at the City ground. The game live, coming to you for the first time this season domestically. We've already covered Wolves in Europe in that first leg a week ago. They won 2-1, they actually won 5-1 on aggregate in the second leg against the Irish side Crusaders. Aberdeen also going through along with Rangers as well in that competition. They all are safely through to the 3rd qualifying round of the Europa League, and next week we'll see the welcome return to Premier League action for the likes of Norwich, the likes of Sheffield United and Aston Villa, of course, who play away from home tomorrow. It might be next Saturday evening, and that's probably going to be one of the games that we're going to bring you live here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Chris Whiteman will be back in the box hopefully next Saturday lunchtime, and of course we'll be all across Burnley, whether we commentate on them or not. We'll make sure that we bring you everything that matters, all the news that matters as well from Burnley. Of course, we are still a Burnley channel, but we're going to be a lot less biased this season and start being a bit more pro to the other teams as well that we cover as well, so, and give them as much airtime as we possibly can. And we're giving these two great old clubs quite a few 90 odd minutes of airtime this evening. Two great clubs that are struggling at the moment to wake up. Certainly Nottingham, more so Nottingham Forest. They've been at the top flight now for gone on 20 years. They were relegated 20 years ago under Ron Atkinson. Finished rock bottom that season and struggled in the struggled since then. They've had a couple of sad relegations to the 3rd tier of English football, League One. but really it has been a season of real 20 odd years of real misery after all them years before it of great success at the City Ground. European nights, 2 European Cups amongst the honours, 4 League Cups, League Championship, all under the brilliant Brian Clough, was given the freedom of course of the city of Nottingham, or in fact has a statue of him in the actual city of Nottingham. If you go into Nottingham Town Centre, there's a statue of him there that was unveiled about a decade ago. Here's Edwards now, looks like he's recovered well from his injury. Now here's a chance now for them to cut inside to go for that third goal, and the ball played out there by Sawyers, and this is Edwards. He runs past Matt Cash, who gets a good block in. The ball still in play on the inside the penalty area. Forest, well, they didn't need to dive in there, but they stayed on their feet there rather than dived in, which was a good decision in the end. But Edwards gets the ball back once again for Albion. It's still 2-1 here, and we're into 2 added minutes incidentally, and we're into the first of those, 20 seconds into the first of those. In case you joined us late, Matt Cash put Forest ahead, but then fortuitous Albion goals, one through Murich's hands from Edwards, cutting in from the left hand side, made it 1-1, and then from the far side, the right hand side, must have been midway inside the Forest half when he hit it on the right hand side. Phillips hit a cross come shot. Murich was 4 yards off his line and allowed it to drift right into the back of the net, into the left hand corner of that net at the Trent end, and it's 2-1 now all of a sudden to Albion, having been 1-0 down for a good 10 minutes or so prior to that. So we're into the final minute of the 2 in an all action game here at the City Ground, and there might still be a chance here as Grabban goes into the penalty area, wrestles with Bartley, who gets the ball away, but well, Bartley's been fouled there by Lewis Grabban, the former Bournemouth player. Free kick to West Bromwich Albion. Forest could maybe and should have had at least one penalty in the first half as well, so there has been a bit of controversy though. Apart from that though, I think referee Darren England has refereed it okay, but I do believe he should have ordered a penalty there when Grabban was certainly Lloyd was certainly one of the Forest players were being held. And of course Russ has been covering his first game of the season as well. He's been doing some radio work elsewhere. He's a freelance commentator, but he is one of our staffers this season, and you will hear him over the course of the season, I can guarantee you that, as the whistle goes for half time. And I think Simon Village will be more delighted at the moment of the two managers. It all started well for his opposite number, Sabri Labucci, when Forest took the lead after just 8 minutes through Matt Cash hitting the ball into the back of the net. But then came back West Brom some 9 minutes later through Edwards, hit the ball from the left hand side into the back of the net, and then Phillips on 26 minutes from the far side, midway inside the Forest half, hit this cross come shotted, and it went drifting over Murich, who was no more than possibly 4 yards off the line at the time. So 2 errors to him. I've had a ropey first 45 minutes personally, more with the West Brom players than anything else, because they've got red names and numbers, and it's very difficult to read, especially if your shirts are green and yellow. Not easy, I can tell you. So I've been struggling a little bit, but usually the first couple of commentaries are usually ropey ones, so please forgive me for that. We'll bring you what's been happening in the Championship in about 10 minutes time, and of course I'll remind you of the close of play score in the first Specsavers Ashes Test match between England and Australia at Ashbaston in Birmingham. But at half time we're going to take a 10-minute break here, and as I say, we'll come back and give you an update of what's been happening in the Championship and of course the first Ashes Test. But the half-time score here as we go for a break, it's Nottingham Forest 1, West Bromwich Albion 2, and we'll be back after the break. Hello again everybody, welcome back to the City Ground Nottingham as we await the start of the second half. Let me just give you a rundown of all the scores that have happened today. Of course, Luton and Middlesbrough finished 3-0 in that opening match last night, and what a game that was, to and fro all the way there in that one. So in alphabetical order, let's go through the full-time scores then from the Championship. Barnsley beat Fulham by 1-0 in that game. The winning goal, in fact, coming after 13 minutes, Luke Thomas with the goal in his debut, winning that game. And as a Burnley fan, this is music to my ears. Blackburn 1, Charlton 2, Perrington and Taylor with Charlton's goals, Phillips with an own goal, put Blackburn in it, but well beaten in the end. Well done to them, well done Charlton. You've made a Burnley man. I'm really happy for a Burnley fan tonight. Birmingham have won 1-0 against Brentford. Pedersen with the goal. So Birmingham off to a good start under their new boss Pep Quartet. Millwall are off to a good start, favourites for relegation. They beat Preston by 1-0. The goal coming from Jed Wallace, and it's in fact their second victory of the calendar year, but they're off to a flyer. Millwall, good win for them. A game that Russ covered, of course. Reading 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Plenty happening in that game. Harris with the first goal for Sheffield United, then Mate equalised for Reading, and then Hutchinson put Sheffield Wednesday ahead 2 minutes later after 56. Westwood was sent off after 80, so Sheffield Wednesday actually finished the match with 10 men, but they still had time Wednesday with Yukas Yao 7th minute of stoppage time to make the game safe, and Sheffield Wednesday off to a good start there. Stoke have lost at home to QPR 2-1. Hugo with the first goal, and then Eze getting the second one. Lucas pulling one back for Stoke, so not a good start at the Britannia for Stoke. Swansea came from behind to win 2-1 against Hull. Grozicki have put the Tigers ahead after 3 minutes, but then Baston in the 48th minute, and then a minute later Van der Horn getting Steve Cooper's new side off to a good start. And then in probably one of the games of the day as the teams emerged from the tunnel for the second half, Wigan 3, Cardiff 2. Cardiff were 1-0 through Joe Rolls, then Jacobs equalised for Wigan, then Windass put Wigan in front, Bogle equalised after 70 minutes, and then 15 minutes from the end, Evans winning the game 3-2 to Wigan in that one, and of course Forest won. And just to remind you of the scoreline in the Ashes: Australia first innings 284 all out, England in reply 374 all out, and in the second innings Australia currently are 124 for 3, lead by 34 runs. I'll quickly go through the scorecard for you of the second innings. Australia batsman Bancroft caught Butler bowled Moen for 7, Warner caught Bairstow bowled Boer for 8, and Khawaja bowled Stokes caught Bairstow for 40, Smith not out for 46, and Travis had 41. There's been 2 extras, 1 no balls and a bye, 124 for 3, and as I said they lead by 34 with 7 wickets in hand, so they are building a nice little lead, but England, you still fancy, will be favourites. So as we welcome you back to the second half just in time, so the referee Darren England gets us away and off we go again. 2-1 to West Brom, remember. It's been a real performance this, that is for sure, as we get underway in the second half. And it's a long kick away by Johnson. He was at fault for the first one that went in, and then obviously the second half, as we just apologised there, we had a woman there from Channel 5 there, I'm just reading on Facebook, it's just keeping me up to date with the cricket. No changes from either side, but Forest in the red shirts now attacking the Trent end away to my right hand side, to my left hand side I should say. So it's a corner kick out to Nottingham Forest at the start. Lewis Grabban winning that corner, and Muric will hope to have a better second half than he did first half, I fancy. I'm sure these new manager, in fact it's a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion, I'm sure the manager will have given him the bird there at half time. I mean, there were 2 basic goalkeeping errors, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Anyway, here's Ferguson now running forward for West Brom. He's made some good runs. Phillips is there on the side, and it's going to be a throw into West Brom, almost in line with the edge of the penalty area on the near side. Now Now we're going to see West Brom attacking the goal to our right, where there's about 2,500 of their fanatical baggies bonging away to my right hand side as the throw is taken by Ferguson. There's a foul there, I think. No, the referee's happy to play on. Didn't think I thought Darren England, the referee, would have blown up. That's his name, Darren England. That's not a misprint. That is a complete fact. He comes from Basel. He used to be he was a linesman until 2015, and then he took up refereeing, and now he's been promoted to the Championship, and he's taken a very good command of it, although he could have given Forest a penalty in the first half. Here's Joe Lowry down the left hand side, wins a corner, and now Forest have this opportunity now. Can they get themselves level? They have to play better. They can start the second half as well as they did the first. Then I don't think there'll be much doubt about them getting back into this game. I think the goal scoring is far from over yet by any means. So Silva to take the corner, number 28, making his debut for Forest today. At the moment it's a losing debut as the corner comes in from the left hand side towards the far post. Well defended there by Bartley for West Bromwich Albion. And now a chance now for Kronovic to break forward. He's got a man to his right, which was Zahor, but in fact the West Brom players wanted a free kick which wasn't given, but they're on the attack anyway. Ball whipped in, and Muric with a decisive punch there. Went for a wall of bodies to get that one. Muric did really well. They had the ball back in there again. Header one, and Muric this time handles very well from Matt Phillips. How ironic is that? But it wasn't going in anyway. At least he's caught one or two balls. But this was the run again from Kronovic. Must have run through the centre about 40-50 yards. There might have been an attempt to foul him there, but the referee didn't think there was anything in it, and I certainly didn't believe there was anything in it at all. And I think the referee was correct. As we come up towards 4 minutes gone in the second half. Still 2-1 to Albion against Forest. The ball played in towards Lewis Grabman on the far side, but across again comes Bartley, who does really well. In fact, wins the throw-in off Lewis Grabman. He's not really been in the game as much. He hadn't really created any real clear-cut opportunities, the former Bournemouth striker. Both teams have got new managers in. Of course, Slaven Bilic is making his first game in charge of West Brom. Same for his opposite number, Sabri Labrucci for Nottingham Forest. But at the moment, it's the Croatian as Bilic that's getting the upper hand in this game by 2-1. And at the moment, it's very hard to see them relinquishing it. They have been very good defensively. Yes, they were pierced by Matty Cash, but since then they've took a huge command and grip on the game, and I've been very impressed with their work rate in industry as Gibbs gets the ball forward. Edwards is out on the far side. Here's Edwards now. He'll run at Cash again. Edwards cuts inside, tries to lay the ball in towards Kronovic. Phillips now has it for West Bromwich Albion. Just drifts out to the right and gets his shot off, and it just goes in, just skids over the bar and behind for a goal kick. Whistles into the West Bromwich Albion fans in that stand behind the goal. Stand opposite the Trent end, where Forest incidentally are attacking in the second half. Remember, Forest 2-1 down. That was the half-time score. Russ has had an eventful match down at the Majeski. He's coming back from that actually. 3-1. His team, Sheffield Wednesday won. I'm sure the Sheffield Wednesday fans will be hoping they can get back into the Premier League. They've been down in the doldrums for the last 20 years. They went down in the same year after Nottingham Forest actually. They went down 20 seasons ago this very season. To the season in fact. They went down in the year 2000. And they finished bottom like Forest did the season before. So two big teams really that could make the step up. Big grounds of course. Here's Joe Lowry now for Forest. Running to the byline, gets his cross in. Again, nobody waiting in red, and in the end they were very lucky, Forest, in some respects, to get a corner there, because I don't think there was anybody really gambling inside the 6-yard area, but it was a nice little cross from Lowry. He just didn't have enough red shirts in the box. But you can bet your bottom dollar Michael Dawson will come forward from the back. Former Spurs and Holland, Joe Wobble. It's Forest's third corner of the game. West Brom still to have one, in fact. 51 and a bit minutes gone. Here comes the corner from Silva towards the near post, but it's knocked away once more. And West Brom again, stout defending. It wasn't a particularly good corner actually from Forest. And here go Albion, but hooked away into the stand for throwing by Matt Cash. As Zahor made the break down the far side. Still remains 2-1 to West Bromwich Albion. 52 gone. 7 minutes now into the second half, and of course the JB man in the match will be back into full swing this year. Same formula as last year to vote. Name of your player, and then just hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM, please, and send it across into the comment section as well. And the man or the player with the most votes wins our supplementary award. So JBMLTM. That will be starting in around about 20 minutes into the second half when we open the voting for that. 65 minutes, and we'll let you know exactly. So we've got a little while yet before we open the JB Man in Match. But from the 65th minute to the 90th minute, the votes can be cast. But just remember, hashtag your vote with the hashtag JBMLTM. And your name of your player. You can do it in whatever order you want, as long as you've got the hashtag and the name of your player. It doesn't have to be the full name, it can just be the surname as well. But as long as you hashtag it with JBMLTM, the vote then does count. Right, back to the game, and it's 2-1 to West Bromwich Albion as Forest, twice winners of the European Cup in 79 and 80, try to come forward, but the attack breaks down still deep in their own half, and they've gifted West Brom a throw in here. They've really put Forest under a lot of pressure here today. Ferguson's going to take it just about midway inside the Forest half. Maybe midway over inside the Forest half, actually. Been a disappointing day, really, for Forest. I mean, with the game starting off ever so well for them. But I've got to tell you that West Brom, a bit fortuitous to be 2-1 up in a lot of respects, but having said all that, though, we can get the luck whether it's going. We can get the luck while it goes. Why not? I honestly believe that. Here, anyway, there's the cross coming in. No one again waiting in the 6-yard box. The Hall was trying to reach it, and here's Matt Phillips. He's kept it in on the right-hand side. Coming up to the 10-minute mark of the second half. Still 2-1 to Albion. And here's Ferguson, plays it back inside towards Kromovich. Kromovich now tries to turn, but he finds Ferguson again. And Phillips can't keep it in. And it's a throw into Nottingham Forest, still deep inside their own half, which is not going to please their manager Wambuchi. Sam Bilic, a little bright smile, but it's nice to see him back in English football after a spell away. After what happened at West Ham, he had a good run with West Ham, and then it just didn't quite work out for him in the end. And he's had an extended break from English football, but it's good to see him back in it, and at a Championship club as well. If we can take West Brom back into the Premier League, where their fans truly believe they belong, and I think you look at the size of both clubs, I think both of them are Premier League material, whichever way you look at it. You look at the grounds they have, like Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds and West Brom and Forest. You look at the grounds, I mean, some of the grounds that are in the Championship now were used for the European Championships nearly 25 years ago. The likes of the City Ground, Ellen Road, Hillsborough, all those great grounds around here, and they still are hosting Championship football. These grounds should be hosting top flight football, but they're not at the moment, as the Forest hierarchy look on in bewilderment. There's no why their team are 2-1 down at the moment, as the ball gets floated in there, and Johnson takes the ball comfortably on the edge of his own 6-yard area, and the danger is quelled for the moment anyway when West Bromwich Albion. Johnson throws the ball out and throws it out very well towards the far side, in fact a halfway line. And Forest again a little slow to pick up Kronovich now, as Kronovich cuts inside, feeds it in, gets the 1-2 going. This is good football again. This comes to Phillips. And Ferguson as well. Ferguson now out to the far side, and it's Sawyers to Edwards. Far side, Edwards with the cross, deep one, but it's too far beyond certainly Matt Phillips and certainly past Hort. It wasn't a great cross from Edwards, who got the equaliser, remember, which made it 1-1, and then Phillips' fortuitous goal from the far side of the ground, making it 2-1. Lewis Grabban has not had a sniff in this game so far. That would be a concerning factor for Nottingham Forest right now. Part of a front three. They started off 4-3-3, but he's becoming rather isolated, I fear, up front at the moment. Lewis Grabban at the moment. Here he is now trying to make something of it. He's working hard, but he's just not being helped by. He's not getting enough service, I feel, from the midfield areas, really, and that's been a real frustration for Notts Forest in this game so far here at the City Ground. Coming to you live, in fact, from the City Ground. 2-1 is the score. The ball ushered back to the goalkeeper. Kicks away right-footed. 2-1 is the score. And the ball hooked forward once more, and Adoma can't reach it, and then the ball ushered back to the goalkeeper. And here's Johnston, gets the ball high, long and forwards. Now Dawson to get it forward. 2-1 Albion. This is Ben Watson. Watson in field. He tries to play the ball into Silva. Silva gets the ball back. Cash back to Dawson. Now Dawson finds Joe Worrell. Worrell plays the ball back as well. 58 gone. It's still 2-1 Albion. Remember, the JB man in the match will be reconvening at 65 minutes, as we always do on our live games. The game live coming to you from the East Midlands, Nottingham City Ground. 2-1 to West Bromwich Albion against Nottingham Forest. Been a good game of football, but it's just tailed off a little bit as an all-action attacking fest. Just been a bit sloppy in the final third, both sides. As you know, as both teams are putting decent crosses into the box, but there's nobody getting on the end of it, and that's the thing. Early today, Barnsley won, Sheffield Wednesday won as well. Millwall got off to a flyer against Preston, and Charlton won at Blackburn, which is quite good news for this particular Burnley fan. And Cardiff were beaten 3-2 at Wigan. Swansea had to come from behind against Hull. So plenty happening in Championship terms anyway. You'll be able to see all the highlights of the Championship at 9 o'clock on the Quest channel, which is a free-to-air channel. You can watch it on Freeview, on Sky, and on BT Vision, or whatever platform you've got your television tuned to. 9 o'clock with Colin Murray. If you want to watch the highlights of all the Football League opening weekend of the season, Championship, League 1 and League 2 will be featured. Here's a chance now for number 3. Good save. What a good save by Muric. Now that'll do his confidence a world ago. Shot came in deep from 6 yards out. It was a good run. It was Edwards who got the shot, and Muric got down well, narrowed his angles. It was a good effort from Edwards, and this time he was thwarted by the on-loan Manchester City goalkeeper. That was a really good save from Muric. That will do his confidence a world of good. An hour played. It's Forest 1, West Brom 2. Could have easily been 3-1 to Albion, as the corner will be taken from the far side by Matt Phillips. Up comes Njai and Bartley from the back as it comes in there. Muric came and didn't get there, and in the end got away with it. He might have got a glove on that. Bartley was flying in at the far post, and it almost turned out to be another mistake there. Came for a ball which I don't think he could have got there anyway. It was really poor goalkeeping. We praised him a second ago with a terrific save from Edwards, but just didn't deal with that corner. He might have got the slightest feather on that to take it behind for a corner. And we're going to see Vicente come on now for Nottingham Forest. And off in his place will be in a second with Silva. So we're going to see Rafa Vicente. Rafa Mir is his actual name. But he's also got Vicente as well, so it's Mia as well, but we call him Vicente because he's part of his name. Phillips to take a corner from the other side now, the right hand side. Phillips, right footed, puts the ball back towards a penalty spot, and the shot came in, and again he got a deflection of Ben Watson from the attempted effort from Sawyers, and it will be another Albion corner. Good, well worked corner this time, and Sawyers got his shot off, but it hits Ben Watson, and behind for another corner to Albion. West Bromwich Albion that is, and it's a corner to be taken again. The third corner in succession by Phillips, this time right footed into the 6-yard box. Danger still not away. Sawyers had another shot, and then the shot crack in and over the top from just to the left of the penalty area from Kronovich. Goes into the stand where all the West Brom fans are populated behind, and a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. Again, another good teasing corner there by Phillips. Sawyers had the first effort that was charged down, and then Kronovich with his left foot hit it, and was always rising as he hit it. And we're going to see another change in personnel. Oliver Burke is going to come on, and he will replace Kenneth Zahor, who's not really fed off anything too much today. A bit like Lewis Grabban in a way, hasn't fed off scraps, and that's always not a great sign. But at the moment, with two goals fortuitously in their favour, 2-1 they lead, 63 minutes gone, and we're 2 minutes away from the man of the match vote opening. The man with the most votes between the 65th and 90th minute will win the game. Here comes number 14 now, Vicente, trying to work something deep inside the West Brom half. Phillips has run out of pitch. Out of Forest, almost midway inside the West Brom half. Now Forest really need to up the ante now for this remaining 25 minutes that remain here, because up until now it's actually the Bridgeford stand, the stand away to my right, as the throw comes in long towards the edge of the penalty area, or into the penalty area by the penalty spot, headed out by Bartley. Dawson to win the next header now for Forest, and then the ball ushered back to Muric, who's made one or two mistakes. I'd say well though a few moments ago from Edwards though, but flapped at the next corner, which he was very lucky to get away with actually, in with all due respect. 2-1 to Albion at the moment, and at the moment it doesn't look as if it's going to go anywhere, as the ball is again knocked back to Muric once again. 2-1 Forest. Muric gets the ball forward, long headed one again by Ferguson, but it only as far as number 18 Robinson. Plays it to Adoma on the left hand side. Adoma will look to take on his man, and he wins a corner here for Nottingham Forest. Now can they get the equaliser and bring it back to 2 apiece? 64 minutes played here at the City Ground. We're coming up 64.5 minutes gone at the City Ground. It's 2-1 to West Brom, sorry. I meant to say corner to Forest, and I said 2-1 Forest by accident. First game of the season properly, and it's very rusty as the ball plays in towards the penalty area, and it's very rusty. Rusty is Russ's nickname. If you listen to the podcast the other night, you'll be able to listen to that on YouTube now. Well, me, Russ, and Chris Whiteman, and unfortunately we didn't hear from Mike because he had technical difficulties, but you can hear the three of us chat about Premier League and what will happen to both our teams, our support. In Russ's case Leeds, in mine and Chris's case Burnley, and you'll be able to hear that now on YouTube now. Yes, yeah, I stand corrected. It is 2-1 Albion. I got muddled up there. I should have said a corner to Forest and Albion leading 2-1. We're 65.5 minutes in. The voting for the JB Man of the Match is now in full swing. It's now open, so you can make your votes now. And it's a throw into Forest, midway inside the Albion half. Robinson to take it. We're to the 66th minute. We've had 66 minutes of the game. Robinson's going to go long into the penalty area of Albion it goes, but again well won, but it comes out to the edge of the penalty area. Here's a chance now for Forest, but it's not back towards Michael Dawson, the Nottingham Forest captain. Now the ball thread out towards Cash on the far side. Cash Has got support there from Joe Lolly, but decides to go back towards Michael Dawson. Dawson hits the ball diagonally, looking for the run of Adoma, and he's found him well, and Adoma gets a terrific crossing, but again, nobody gambling inside that penalty area. Vicente was on the far side, but he was probably too far over on the far side, but Forest have got themselves a corner. Still 2-1 this time, I should say, right, to West Bromwich Albion. Well, JB Man of the Match votes are now open. Don't forget, name of your player that you want to win the award, our award, and as Joe Lolly takes this corner, hashtag JBMLTM, Lolly's corner into the penalty area. Up and under here, still might come for number 17 Estevez, who got the initial header in, but he headed it up and came back down, but he couldn't get into the position to maybe volley it goalwards. Forest still have it though, but they played it towards the far side, and Cash will retrieve the ball now for Forest, and he has to get it back to his goalkeeper Muric, who at the moment his 2 mistakes in the first half could well cost his team 3 points this evening. 2-1 still to West Bromwich Albion. And here is Worrell. Worrell now coming forward. Still anyone's game for the taking here. Can Forest rally in this final 23 minutes? We've had 67 gone here at the City Ground, and that's out of play before Vicente can keep it in on the near side byline, and it's a goal kick to Albion. Sabri Lamucci will be disappointed after such an encouraging start. It's all gone a little bit awry for Forest at this moment in time. And at the moment it's 2-1. Russell vote for man of the match with 5 minutes to go, but the vote in it for anyone else is still very much up for grabs. So, as I said, but if it ends a draw between 2 players, then I get the casting vote, and around about 90 minutes. Because the voting at 90 minutes dead, we're going to see another change, incidentally, for Nottingham Forest. Looks like it's going to be Sammy Abiobi that's going to come on, big bulky centre forward. Obviously, brother of Shola, former Newcastle man. West Brom have a team conference down there. 3 of the 2 of them having a word or two. Jake Livermore being one of them, the captain of Albion. As Sammy Amiobi now gets the final instructions from the coaching staff here at the City Ground. As, we're waiting for a goal kick. I think there was an injury there. That's why we've got a little bit of a delay. You're not missing any of the key action at the moment, but it's still 2-1 to West Brom. If you joined us late, a goal from Matt Cash after 8 minutes, then was counted out on 15 by Edwards, and then 26 minutes across from the far side, the West Brom far side, as they were attacking the Trent end in the first half. From the right hand side, a hopeful cross from Matt Phillips from around about the halfway mark of the halfway inside the Forest half, something like 35-40 yards out, still to the right on the right hand touchline, and it seemed to drift over Muric and into the back of the net. And Muric, I swear to God, was only at least 4 yards off his line at best, so it was definitely within him actually saving that, and that was quite frankly a pathetic attempt to keep the ball out. I'd saved well though from Edwards in the second half, but it's Forest still trailing by 2-1. And here's number 18 now, Robinson going down that line, and Adoma surely was fouled there, and referee England does not agree. No, I thought that was a 3 kick there. Darren England, in my opinion, possibly got that one quite wrong there, but it's still 2-1 to West Bromwich Albion. They're allowed to continue. 2-1 it is to Albion, who have possession now with Livermore and now Sawyers. Now Gibbs has it on the far side here for West Bromwich Albion. Doldle's a little bit on the ball. Joe Lolly tries to put him under a lot of pressure, but here comes Kronovich, who's looked a real handful when he's got forward. He's got Edwards out on the far side. He'll take on Matt Cash again. Goes inside, but Cash comes at him. Good tackle on the edge of the area. Shot comes in from, I think it was Sawyers that was charged down. Lolly will keep that in on the far side. In fact, he's won a throw-in. He's done okay there, Joe Lolly. And a throw-in it is to Nottingham Forest. 20 minutes left to play. In fact, 19 minutes left to play. And still 2-1. There's another change in the offing, incidentally, now for West Bromwich Albion. Looks like as well. Off comes Kieran Gibbs. On comes Connor Townsend. And a Forest substitution as well. Number 19. Amiobi, as I said, will be coming off, or coming on rather, and he replaces Joe Lally, who makes his way off around the pitch because he's gone off on the far side, so it allows Sammy Amiobi to come on. Joe Lally's done okay, but just, as I say, it's just lacked in the final third, and Amiobi, a big bulky striker, could well make the difference come the end. And Amiobi in fact came from Bolton, and Bolton Wanderers struggling at the moment in League One. Only 7 players on their books a few weeks ago. It tells you how desperate things are. Bury, of course, they had their opening match cancelled today because Gig Lane wasn't. They couldn't sustain the cost of holding a game at Gig Lane with their financial problems. So Bury and Bolton going through a hard time at the moment, and let's hope the Football League can sort their plights out and get them going in the right direction before they do come extinct. And of course Russ points out that Accrington and Bury are also postponed, and I'm also told that the Accrington and Bury fans are going to have a charity match, a fans match to raise funds for Bury Football Club, so a nice gesture there from the Accrington Stanley fans as well for that. Anyway, here's Edwards now for Albion. 2-1 up they are here on the far side. Plays a 1-2 plays a 1-2 there with Townsend playing the ball in, and Kromovic again gets it out to Edwards, who's had a good game so far. He'll take on Adoma here, beats him absolutely comprehensively, and now the shot will come in, will it? No, Sawyers will play it out towards the far side, and here comes Townsend. Connor Townsend with the cross, against far too deep, and there was only 2 or 3 green and yellow shirted Albion players in there to go forward. I have to say Albion have been a nightmare to commentate on with their red shirts, red numbers on the back. Here comes Estevez now. Real opportunity now. Can they get the ball in towards Amiobi? The ball played in. Amiobi's got a chance at the far post. Grabbing with the first ball in there, and in the end Albion scrambled it out for a corner, but Forest so close to an equaliser. It was well worked down the far side. The cross came in, and Graben went for it first, and then inside the area Amiobi trying to put a lot of pressure. It was a cross from Adoma in actual fact, so Forest have a chance here from a corner, and it's going to be Matt Cash, the goal scorer for Forest, that put them ahead. A ball just about on the quadrant, on the line of the quadrant, so a corner it is. Cash right-footed, swings it into the danger zone, well defended by Albion. It'll be another corner to Nottingham Forest. Cash will try again. It came off the defender Ajayi, and it will be another corner. Forest are leading on the corner count, 7 corners to 2 now. This is their 7th corner, taken this time by Cash. Again, a much deeper one this time. Once again, Bartley winning the header this time for Albion, and they did remarkably well there, and they might just win themselves a free kick, but they keep possession to their eternal credit there, Albion, and they did really well, and they're going to lead out a counter-attack themselves. In fact, they concede a throw-in, or they win a throw-in, I should say, on the far side. There's Romain Sawyers. He's had a decent game in the centre of midfield. He's in from the start. New signing, of course. Once your new signings will have you look. Still the same old story for Forest with a quarter of an hour left of the games. You can still get your voting for the man of the match, name of the player, JBMLTM, the hashtag it please. I know Russ is going to put his around about 85 minutes, but if anybody else is listening, put that beforehand. And of course don't vote after, if you're listening to it on YouTube, the votes will not count on YouTube, as it will be a delayed stream that you're listening to. Only for the Twitch listeners, but once we're back on YouTube full time, you will all get a piece of the action, I promise you. But anyway, back to tonight, and at the moment here live on Twitch, the JB Twitch channel, it's 2-1 to West Bromwich Albion. But Forest now really need to pull their finger out in the remaining quarter of an hour, just less than that remaining. Here's number 17, Estevez, past one man, past another, through the centre he goes, cuts in field, and Estevez with his right foot, got a good shot off, almost central, about 25 yards, maybe less than that from goal, hit it well, but just cleared the crossbar by about 2 or 3 inches into the Trent end, and behind for a goal kick to West Bromwich Albion. But that was better from Forest, more urgency, more energy about their play then. And well, Estevez did really well, got his shot off. It was a good effort, but as I say, just too high. Sam Johnson might have been struggling a tad there to get there, in all fairness to him. But still 2-1. And here come Forest again with Watson. Oh, he couldn't get it through there to Vicente, and then he's fouled his man. Free kick to Albion. Very clumsy challenge there by Vicente, it's got to be said. 77 minutes almost gone, and it's still Forest 1, West Bromwich Albion still 2. But I think there's still more opportunities left in this game. It's been a good game. Obviously not the goal fest we were hoping for tonight, considering maybe the Luton game last night was probably going to be the toughest act in the world to follow, although Wigan and Cardiff might argue that case this afternoon in a real 5-goal epic at the DW Stadium, which Wigan edged out Cardiff 3-2. Neil Warnock will certainly not be happy with that, that's for sure. But you'll be able to watch the highlights of all the Football League matches on Quest this evening around about 9 o'clock with Colin Murray and his friends, Ian Holloway, Chris Powell, and the pundits for this the programme. I think Karen Carney's a panellist as well. I'm not sure. The former England women's player who's retired from football this year, as West Bromwich Albion look goal searching for a third one. It was just about stayed onside. And this is Kromovic now. Kromovic plays the ball back. Sawyers has possession. Sawyers sprays it out towards the far side. Now Matt Phillips, whose his fortuitous goal from halfway on the right hand side. Looks halfway inside the Forest half on the right hand side from 35-40 yards. Looks as if it could be the winning goal at the moment. They've got a corner, West Brom. If they can get a third, then that kills Notts Forest off for sure. Albion leading 2-1 and have a corner. And unsurprisingly, or surprisingly enough, they're bringing the big men up. They're not hanging on in there to take a 2-1 back, because they know what Forest are capable of. Dorsey's not happy with one or two of the markers. As Phillips gets the ball in, it's headed out at the near post this time, but Burke keeps it alive for Forest. Still for West Bromwich Albion, I should say. The ball played back towards Johnston, who was at fault for the goal that went past him from Matt Cash. But apart from that, has a little else to do, but here go Forest again. Now then, Vicente, grab him now inside the area, grab him, trying to play it in towards Vicente, and a good slash-stitch challenge there from Bartley. I think Forest were trying to maybe appeal a penalty, but they've won a corner instead. But a good breakout there. It was 3 on 3 for a minute there as Grabban played the ball in, but Albion had just got another 3 or 4 players back, and Forest, all they get for that little counter-attack is a corner, but it still might come to something. 11.5 minutes left to play, and it's going to be Matty Cash to take the corner again, near side, the left-hand side. In front of the Trent end is the corner, comes into the Wells, a 6-yard area, well headed away by Ajayi that time, inside that very crowded penalty area there for West Bromwich Albion. Still play on, and it's Albert Adoma now, signing from Villa, plays the ball into the danger zone towards the far side, and it's headed out by Albion. Will the ball go into touch? It will. It's a throw to Forest. Ben Watson wants to take it. Was held up for a second, but takes it now. The ball played in. Oh, it's just too overhit towards Matty Cash. Really poor overhit ball, and Cash, as soon as the ball was hit forward, Cash had no chance of getting on the end of that and potentially getting across into that West Brom penalty area as we go into the final 10 minutes. And it's Matt Phillips who's going off, getting a standing ovation. Just seen that freak goal he's just scored there, halfway inside the Forest half on the right hand side. He's hit that right footed, it's a cross, but Muric, I swear to God, was only 3 maybe 4 yards off his line, and yet he still got chipped. To me, that's, if you're only 3 or 4 yards off your goal line, that is not great goalkeeping, it must be said. There are 1 or 2 injuries around, players receiving cramp. That's not what you want to see on the first day of the season, but they are very still humid and hot conditions. But even so, the players can't use that as an excuse, surely. We're now going to the closing stages tonight. What's been a remarkable day's football in the Championship. We've got the Community Shield live or delayed to bring you tomorrow, and then the Premier League reconvenes on Friday. There's an injury there to one of the West Brom players. I can't see who it is, otherwise I'll be able to tell you. I'll have to tell over from the far side adjacent towards me. There's a substitution taking place. Looks like Jake Livermore's going off there for West Bromwich Albion. Or is he just coming towards the touchline? I don't think he's going off actually. Video there, just having a word or two there with some Village. They're all mic'd up and in communication. It's 2-2 in that game in Cardiff between AC Milan. Lindelof had scored an own goal to put Milan in front 2-1, but Jesse Lingard has just equalised in that game in Cardiff at the Millennium Stadium. 2-1 it is. Forest 1, West Brom 2 in our featured match in the Championship live from the City Ground, and it's Dawson now for Forest. I don't know who's got the injury over on the far side. We'll try and find out who it is in due course. Bear with us for that. Meanwhile, it's Forest now playing against 10 men on a temporary basis, and Warren out feeds Robinson. Robinson finds Amiobi. Robinson back to Amiobi. Really, they need to get inside that penalty area, I think. Sammy Amiobi. Watson back to Amiobi. Forest just going nowhere fast, having to go backwards. It's not pleasing the fans here at this City Ground at the moment. Dawson tries to get something going on the far side. Cash kills the ball dead, gets the crossing from the far side. It's out for a throw-in. West Brom still trending, still down to 10 players at the moment. They're supposed to be making a substitution any time soon as well. In fact, they are making the change, and it looks as if Edwards, I think it might be the man that's coming off. Is it Edwards? Is it? Yeah, Kyle Edwards, who scored the equaliser, is off, and Harper, number 16, has come on. So Kyle Edwards has done a good job today. Very impressed with him. Simply one to watch in the Championship as the throw comes in from Nottingham Forest. 2-1 down. There was a throwing level with the edge of the penalty area. It didn't come to much in the end. But Forest are still not going to give up, but have conceded a goal kick. Community Shield, then the start of the Premier League, then the Carabao Cup, and of course on the 14th, the Thursday night. 27,592 is the attendance, incidentally, as we've got 6 minutes of the game to go, and we'll be waiting Russ's verdict on man of the match with bated breath. Don't forget, Russ, get into the old hashtag JBMLTM, please. No yellow cards, remarkably, in this game, which is credit to the referee Darren England, who comes from Barnsley, in fact, and no red cards. Pointless statistics that are being flashed up on my television monitor at the moment here at the City Ground as we now go into the final few minutes now of the game. Number 7 now for Kromovich has it on there, and Sawyer has lost it, and now here's a chance for Forest, but it's 2 against 4 in West Brom's favour, so Forest a little bit outnumbered, but they get a corner for their enterprise there. Vicente with the break. It was 2 against 4. There's going to be a yellow card in the offing, and remarkably the first one in the game. Bartley's the man of the match according to Russ, and at the moment that's leading. Anyone else that's listening in, if there's no change in that, no, Bartley would get the man in the match. So everyone else that's listening, you've got 5 minutes to change all that. Don't vote on YouTube. When the game gets uploaded to YouTube, your vote will not count. It's only during the live game. So Sawyers has gone into the referee's notepad for a foul whilst that attack was going on, as that ball was played into the penalty area, and Matty Cash again with the corner comes out again, and the ball spread out to Cash. There's a player down in the penalty area, still a chance there. Dawson shoots and hits a defender. Michael Dawson there with the shot, and I think it might have been going towards goal, might have been going goal bound. The ball played back into the danger zone, comes there to Forest, and then the shot from the other centre back, Worrell, right foot goes wide and into the Trent end for a goal kick. Well, a big opportunity there for Michael Dawson. That was quite remarkable, in fact. That would have been a remarkable turn up if Dawson had a save, not Sporris there. It was a bit of a scramble going on in that penalty box, and in the end It was well defended. Forest about to make their final alteration of the night, and we'll tell you who that is in a second. We're into the last 3.5 minutes of the game, plus any stoppage time. And here goes Forest, and it was Oliver Burt making the break down the right hand channel and wins his team a corner, and that'll be a relief to them, to all the Albion fans who must have been holding their breath about a minute or two back. And the other end is Dawson tried to get his shot off, and it was goal bound. Phillips striding across in no great hurry to take the Albion corner from the right hand side, near side, as we got 3 minutes to go, plus any stoppage time. Might be 3, maybe 4 minutes as the cross comes in from Phillips. A bit of jostling and shoving that the referee spotted there from Bartley. Penalises Bartley, and it's a free kick to Forest, and we're going to see number 40 here, Johnson. He's going to be replacing Esteves, who came mighty close with a long range effort when on a counter attack earlier on in the second half for Forest. So Semedo is off, to give him his full name, and Brennan Johnson will now enter the fray. So final lock-ins of the game, and here come Forest now looking for this equaliser. Here's Ben Watson, chips the ball in, poor ball in there by a man as experienced as Ben Watson. I nearly said Ben Johnson then, but it's Ben Watson, sorry. The man whose famous goal won Wigan the FA Cup 7 years ago now against Manchester City. His career's been on a bit of a spiral since then, but a very experienced Championship player, certainly at this level. And here go Forest again with Amiobi. Can't get there, but it's a throw-in to Forest inside the final 2 minutes. And when we strike the 90th minute, if Russ's vote for man of the match is still the only one cast, then Bartley will get our reward. But at the moment, it's Forest on the attack. Robinson will take the throw-in, level with the penalty area near side. It's a good long throw. Once again, Bartley got there. It'll come there for number 40, Johnson, to get it into the danger zone. Worrell is there on the far side. Ball will have to be hooked back across into the penalty area. Header one, and just wide of the left-hand post. There were several Forest players going for that. I couldn't say who it might have been actually. Worrell did well to hook the ball back. It might have been grabbing in there. In fact, it was Amiobi who got the header in via the penalty spot. It just lacked a bit of conviction, that header, and hit the side of his head rather than the forehead, and behind for a goal kick. My friend Kane says, who's not got Twitch, says JB MLTM cash. Yeah, that does count as a vote. So 1 vote apiece, and then I've got the casting vote between the two of them. But Cash has played really well. But it's Nottingham Forest still trailing here by 2-1. And I've got 30 seconds to decide who's going to win this man of the match award now. Is it Cash or is it Bartley? Well, probably I'd give it Cash. And that's no disrespect to your vote, Russ. I'd rather give it to an attacker than a defender, although Bartley's played well. So we're going to give it to Matty Cash. So I get the vote because it's a tie. 5 added minutes at the end. And just to let you know that it's Matty Cash that's got the JB award. Sorry, Russ, but just because of his fantastic goal. It was the best goal of the game. It's not going to win possibly 3 points for Forest, but it certainly will win a lot of plaudits from neutrals alike. And here is our man in the match on the ball now. Looks to try and hit another long range shot, and it goes over the top. We're into 5 added minutes, folks, which will increase the intensity around this City ground. He's had a good game. Shame he's going to be on the losing side potential at the moment as he hits that, unfortunately for him, high wide and into the very high and wayward and into the Trent end for a goal kick. Still remains 2-1 to Albion, who are on course now for an opening day win, and they've probably just about earned it. But Forest have laid siege for the final 10 minutes or so. We're into the second minute of stoppage time, and the ball comes out towards the Doma, but it's well defended again by Albion now, it's all hands on deck. I can't really see how long we've had. I think we've had 92 minutes. We're into the second minute of stoppage time, if I can make that out. The graphics for the Football League haven't changed, have they? Television wise. Anyway, there's the throw into the penalty area, and towards the penalty area it went, and up went Joe Worrell, in fact, to try and win the first header, but he completely missed it. But still Dawson and Worrell still forward as Forest try to reload again, and the ball comes out towards the far side. It's all hands on deck now as the boys looked in there towards Lewis Grabham. He's headed down, he's very tame, and it was off target, but well fielded at the end at the near post by Sam Johnston. And we're into almost into the 92nd minute. We're almost at 2 minutes of the 5 now, and we have played the 2 minutes of the 5 as Johnston gathers in there for Nottingham Forest. I gave it to a player on the winning side, as I can't give it to... Well, you can give it to someone on the losing side. I just thought it was just because of the goal. It was just because of the goal he scored. I mean, Bartley, no disrespect, but Bartley's worked so well. But Matt Cash, he's probably been Forest's best player, scored a cracking goal, and it might not win them 3 points. I mean, they still might get a draw out of this yet, Russ. You don't know. But I pick it on individual performances. That's what a Man of the Match award's all about. I have seen a lot of Man of the Match awards dished out to people on the losing team. But there you go. And remember, you voted for Shackleton when Leeds were losing the playoff semi-final, so short memory in that, Russ. Anyway, a throw in then. No disrespect, Russ. You're still a great friend. Anyway, the throw is taken by Forest as the ball is played in, and still might be an equaliser yet. Forest still leading the charge here. Can they find an equaliser as Johnson came charging forward? It's a Forest won a corner. I think they've got it. No, it's a goal kick. And we're now in, we've got about 90 seconds of stoppage time left. We're just over that, in fact, 95 seconds to go. Johnston taking his time. Of course, referee Darren England can add time added on at the end of the 5 if he showed desires. Because I should stress it's a minimum of, in case you're not familiar with the time added on rule. Referee's discretion, it's final. When the 5 minutes is up, he's allowed to play a little bit more stoppage time if he wants to do that. As Albion going to the corner again with Oliver Burke, but they've lost out this time. Good tenacious play there by the defender Joe Worrell, who did really well and got Forest, tries to get Forest along and forwards again. They get a throw in halfway. We've got a minute of the 5 left now here at the City Ground. Forest might as well just go for broke, even if they lose a third on the break. At least they've done it, trying to do it, and the long throw is just too long. Way too long. Slaven Bilic, I don't know what he's suggesting there. I think he's apologising, and he's shaking hands with his counterpart. There's still another 30 seconds to go yet, and they're shaking hands already. I'll never understand those foreign managers myself, but there we go. 20 seconds of the stoppages to play, and it's in up to Darren England, the referee's discretion. He comes from Barnsley, the referee. They're not far from you actually, Russ. As the header comes back once more. And now Dawson to hit it forward. Final seconds of the game now. And there goes the whistle right on the 5-minute mark. A win for Simon Bilic's West Bromwich Albion. Very workmanlike and very fortunate, in fact, to win by 2-1. 2 of the most luckiest goals, and Muric has cost his team big time. If there was a villain of the match award, I'm sure he'd get it. But it was a really good game of football. Forest went in front for Matt Cash's superb goal from all of 25 yards to put Forest ahead after 8 minutes. He went on to win our supplementary award for man of the match. And then back came Forest with a goal from Kyle Edwards. It went through Muric's hands. Muric will not want to look too fondly at that. Neither will the winning goal in the end after 26 minutes. A free cross from the far side, from the right hand side, midway inside the Forest half, from something like 50 yards out, from Matt Phillips. And Muric, who I swear was only 4 yards at most off the line, was chipped quite conclusively. And in the end, it might have been a fortunate victory for West Bromwich Albion, but it's a win all the same, and they'll take it. They didn't play really well, I don't think, on the day. I didn't think Zahor got involved enough. But the Beggars fans won't be complaining. They'll be boing from the west back to the east, back to the West Midlands tonight. 2-1 winners. But Forest will count themselves a bit unfortunate not to get at least a point from it. They were worthy of that. But the 2 goals from West Brom were very much on the fortunate side. And well, nice touch there from Slaven Bilic, shaking hands with all the Forest players. Shook hands with Ben Watson going through there. They gave it their all, but the goalkeeper made the mistake. The 2 mistakes that cost them today. But they played some really good stuff, Forest, and I've no doubts they might be there or thereabouts as regards the playoffs. But it's a defeat for them today. No 100% record for them. Albion win their match, and then it's over to Huddersfield and Leeds for their match tomorrow afternoon at 4:30, but we'll be concentrating on the Community Shield match, and Russ will be busy watching that, I'm certain. So a win for West Brom then by 2-1 as all you can hear in the background are the West Brom fans cheering their team off the field. The Forest fans have obviously made for their exits, and the City ground is now fast emptying away with home fans who will feel that possibly 3 points has certainly slipped away here at the City ground this afternoon after such a gloriously promising start for them. So, well, let's hope the coverage is as good as this season. Plenty of football to come. We are aiming to go over 100 odd matches over the course of the season, which obviously culminates in just under a year's time with the 2020 European Championships, with both semi-finals being played at Wembley and the final itself. So a great start to the domestic season, and so far we've covered 2 matches as well this season, and both have had goals in them. 2 at Wolves in the first leg of that Europa League match a week ago, and tonight we saw 3. Could have had a lot more really, but still a great match nonetheless. And the statistics before I go: 13 shots to Forest compared to 10 with Albion. On target 4 for Forest to 3 from Albion. Corners 9 to Forest, 4 to Albion. 2 offsides for Forest, none to Albion. 8 fouls committed by Forest, 6 to West Bromwich Albion. 1 yellow card, that was to Sawyers of West Brom, and no red cards whatsoever as well. And those were the statistics, but the only statistic that matters to West Bromwich Albion fans is that they won the game by 2-1 here. I see. And just to remind you, in case you joined us late or you haven't seen the scores, if you don't want to know the scores, look away now. I'm going to give you all the full-time scores from the Championship today. So let's start with the Championship. We'll give you all the scores from earlier today. So Barnsley beat Fulham by 1-0. Blackburn 1, Charlton 2. Brentford 0, Birmingham City 1. Millwall 1, Preston 0. Reading 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3. That was Russ's match this afternoon for another radio station. Stoke 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Swansea 2, Hull 1. Wigan edging up Cardiff in a real epic at the DW by 3-2. And in the game you've just heard, that Forest have beaten West Brom by 2-1. Let's go into League One now. Rotherham won away from home, 2-1 against Wimbledon. Blackpool, after a flying start, 2-0 winners over Bristol Rovers. Ipswich start life in League One with a 1-0 win at fellow relegated side Burton Albion. Coventry, after a good start, 1-0 winners at Southend. They played at St Andrews, which is their ground for the season, as there's been disagreements over the Ricoh Arena. Doncaster and Gillingham share the points in a 1-1 draw. Lincoln City beat Accrington Stanley by 2-0 at Sincil Bank. Fleetwood, Joey Barton's Fleetwood, after a flying start at Peterborough, 3-1 winners there today. Shrewsbury 1, Portsmouth 0. Sunderland have got off to a very sticky start there, 1-1 at home to Oxford today. Big Northwest clash there in Birkenhead. It's Rochdale edge out Tranmere at Preston Park in a 5-goal thriller, and Wycombe 2, struggling Bolton 0, and of course Bury MK Dons was postponed because Bury did not have the finances available to fulfil the fixture, or to afford to fulfil the fixture at Gig Lane today. And finally, League 2, Salford off to a flyer in the early kick-off. They beat Stevenage very quite comfortably by 2-0, which should have been more. Bradford Cambridge finished goalless. Carlisle beat Crawley by 2-1 up in Carlisle. Colchester and Port Vale shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. Plymouth winning 3-0 at Gresty Road against Crewe. Plymouth rivals Exeter edging out Mansfield by 1-0. Same scoreline for Forest Green Rovers against Oldham Athletic. Leyton Orient back in the Football League and back with a bang at Brisbane Road. 1-0 winners over Cheltenham. Grimsby beating Morecambe up at the Globe Arena by 2-0. Newport 2, Mansfield 2 was the final score down in Wales. Northampton 0, Walsall 1 at Sixfields. And finally at Glanford Park it finished Scunthorpe United 0, Swindon 2. So that's how it all finished there in League 1. And we'll check, there's also been the start of the SPL as well, so we'll give you the scores from there as well. Scottish Premiership as well, so we might as well give you all the other scores from all around as well. In fact, we'll give you all the scores from Scotland and non-league as well. Scottish Premiership, so Celtic beat St Johnstone by 7-0. Burnley 1, St Mirren 0. Livingston and Motherwell ended goalless. And Ross County far too good for Hamilton Academicals. Ross County running out comfortable 3-0 winners. Into the National League, Stockport County 0, Maidenhead 1. Flower 1 at Aldershot today. Barnet 1, Yeovil 0. Dover winning 2-1 at Chesterfield. I said Saltergate, that was their old ground. Chorley and Bromley finished 0-0. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Woking 2. Good win there for Woking. We featured them in the FA Cup last season. Eastleigh, Notts County's woes continue. They've succumbed to a defeat at Eastleigh by 1-0. Halifax had a great away day at Ebbsfleet, winning 4-1 there. Harrogate and Soriel Moors, managed by Tim Flowers, played out what seemed to be a very good 2-2 draw. Hartlepool have lost again, or have started with a defeat. Sutton United winning by 3-1 there. And Torquay victorious at home to Boreham Wood. And Wrexham, who have tried for years to get back out of the division, lost out 2-1 against Barrow. National League North, York winning 3-1 at Altrincham, York City. What a come down for them, that is for sure. Gloucester winning at Blythe Spartans by 2-1. Boston and Chester shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. Brackley 1, Alfreton 0. Curzon Ashton was far too good for Bradford Park Avenue, 5-0 winners there, Curzon. Farnsley beat Darlington by 3-1. Gateshead Southport finished goalless. Guiseley again far too good for Kings Lynn, 3-0 winners. Hereford and Spennymoor drew 2-2. Kettering beat Telford 2-1. And Kidderminster Harriers 2, Leamington 2. In the south of the National League, Bath City 2, Braintree 0. They've just been relegated, Braintree, from the conference. Billericay 1, Eastbourne 0. Chelmsford 4, Hampton and Richmond 1. Haverton Ward Lillville 1, Welling 1. Emil Hempstead 4, Hungerford Town 1. Maidstone United 1, Weymouth 2. Oxford City 0, Concord Rangers 3. Slough 0, Dorking 1. My dad's hometown actually. He was born in Dorking during the war. St Albans City 0, Chippenham Town 0. Tunbridge Angels 1, Dulwich Hamlet 2. And Wealdstone 4, Dartford 1. When we go back to Scotland with the Scottish Championship, Alloa and Partick Thistle finished 1-1. It also was a goalless. Arbroath and Queen of the South, that finished goalless. Ayr were just too good for Morton. They won 4-2 there. And Dundee United missing out again last season. They're after a fire against Inverness Kelly Thistle, 4-1 winners at Tennerdise. In League 1 in Scotland, Airdrie 0, Forfar 2. Clyde and Eastbourne drew 1-1. Weir Robbers won away at 1-0 at Dumbarton. Peterhead Falkirk finished 0-0. And it ended 2-2 between Stranraer and Montrose. In League 2, Annan Athletic beat Brechin City by 1-0. Cove Rangers were far too good for Edinburgh City, 5-0 winners. Same with Elgin, comfortable 3-0 winners over Cowdenbeath. Albion Rovers, probably the win of the day in that league. 3-2 winners against Stenhouse-Muir away from home. And Queen's Park winning away at Stirling by a goal to 0. Island League, Borough Rangers 3, Cherif 0. Bucky Thistle 2, Strathspey Thistle 1. Gladcudding 3, Key 4. What a game that was. I hate to be a commentator on that one, I'll tell you. Fort Martin United 1, Fraserburgh 2. Fort William 4 Fort William 1 rather in Inverurie Locomotives 4. Huntley 3, Nairn County 4. Robs 4, Forest Mechanics 1. And Wicker Cannery 2, Devon Vale 2. In the Lowland League in Scotland, we've got Berwick 1, University of something or other 2. Caledonian 1, Kelty Hearts 4. Civil Service 1, Bonnie Rigrose 1. Dalbeattie Star 0, Gala Fairy Dean 1. What names up in Scotland in the non-league there. East Stirlingshire 9, Gretna 2008 1. What a game that was. 10-goal thriller in that one. Although it did look a bit on the one side of front, with East Stirlingshire winning 9-1. The Spartans 2, Edinburgh University 0. And finally, Vale of Leven 0, East Kilbride 3. So plenty happening there. Elsewhere, we've got some. There was a Irish Premier Division, Dundalk and Sligo was postponed as well. Welsh League Cup, County Borough and Bangor were both postponed. In the Austrian Bundesliga, Rhino 3, WSG 2, Austria Vienna 0, Lask 3, and TS3 4, AFC Admira 1. Belgium First Division A, Standard Liège 4, SV Salt 0. And 3 games that are currently taking place. Korthoff 0, Sporting de Charleroi 1, Ostend 1, Cercle Bruges 1, and Mechelen 0, RKRC Ghent 0. In the Danish League, Copenhagen won at Sondersgade by 2-1. In the Dutch Eredivisie, Grunkainen beat Emmen by a goal to 0, and Ajax, the European Cup semi-finalists last season, drew 2-2 away at Vitesse Arnhem. In the Finnish League, Onka beat Vasa 3-2. In Norway, Odd beat Lillestrøm 2-1, and Salzburg and Rosenborg drew 1-1. In Russia, Rostov and Ural played out a 2-2 draw. Lokomotiv Moscow beat Kia 2-1, and in the Moscow derby, Spartak 0, Dynamo 0. Zenit St. Petersburg currently 0-0 in their match with Krasnodar. That's 0-0 at the moment. In Sweden, Östersund 1, AFC Eskilstuna 2, that was a full-time score, and Falkenbergs 1, Helsingborg 1. 2 games currently going on in the Swiss Super League. Sion 1, Zurich 1. They've got 10 minutes to go in that one, and Thun 2, Basel 2, again 10 minutes to go in that one. And that brings you all around Europe. In fact, all the domestic games around Europe we've covered. In friendly games, Manchester United and Milan finished 2-2 in Cardiff, and Burnley won 2-0 against Parma at Turf Moor. Jay Rodriguez with a brace. So thank you very much for tuning in to our live coverage from the City Ground, and there'll be loads more commentaries to come. Premier League back next week, and of course the Community Shield back tomorrow as well. But we'll be back next weekend, league-wise, with the return, and the long-awaited return, of the Premier League, where we'll feature 3 or 4 bigger than massive games from there. But until then, have a fantastic week. See you tomorrow for the Community Shield, whether it's live or delayed. Either way, you'll still hear it, and we'll see you very soon. From me, JB, I'm enjoying your Saturday night. We'll see you all tomorrow, but until then, take care. From me, but we'll leave you with the news that West Brom, rather fortuitously, beat Nottingham Forest on the opening day of the Championship season and take the spoils by 2-1. From the City Ground, from me, JB, down out.